How much time would you eat?
That's the way how.
Andrew? What do you? I mean, it's.
Yeah, but, yeah, so they showed. So
Last week,
Go stop.
Bob was here.
Why would this one be like that?
So. About the.
Scenes. That's about.
Church. It won't. What do you wear it at? We get it burning.
Yep.
No.
You'll just find
All kinds of people about that car lot.
I guess the vacancy.
Mine were the line 20.
This often.
Or something, yeah. Yeah, so then we sat down with him and then we did store.
All right, you ready, Kathy?
He left his somewhere and mine was there. Like, we gotta go and get another one. Town hall.
That's on.
Yeah, he just said he's having trouble.
The food side.
All right, 6 o'clock, let's get started. Thank you. All right, call this meeting order of June 10th, 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Wood,
Here.
Councilmember Richardson,
Present.
for Craftsman,
Here.
Councilmember Kangiser, here, Councilmember Hess. He is trying to join remotely right now. Councilmember Johnstone,
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky,
Here.
Mayor DePinto.
Here. Thank you. Can we get an agenda approval?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kangiser. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And carries. Moving on to special presentations. There's none scheduled. Moving on to public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to testify? Public? Do we have anyone online?
We do not have any blue cards or hands raised.
Moving on then to the consent agenda. Let me share what it is first. We have the April.
Councilmember Hess is on.
Thank you. Oh, Councilmember Hess. All right, we got the consent agenda with the April 2025 check register and financial position, as well as Shell Meadows final plot. Is there motion to approve? Councilmember.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Wood. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to new business, we have ordinance number 1132 for the fiscal year 25-26 biennial budget amendment. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I am on page 39 of the agenda packet. This is our second budget amendment for this year. This is the budget amendment where we are setting the actual 2025 beginning fund balances. So when we do our original budget in the fall, we are estimating what our beginning fund balance will be for the next year. Now that we've closed our books for 2024 and we have firm numbers, we now know actual numbers for 2024, which then rolls over to actual beginning fund balance for 2025. So you will see on page 40, there's some columns there, and the column that's highlighted, those are the changes for each fund for the balances. Also, with this budget amendment, we do have a few other changes. We have the, on page 41, we are adding the Economic Development Council expenditure. You had that contract before you a little bit ago for $10,000 in the general fund. In the original budget, we budgeted, so we purchased the police vehicles out of the equipment rental fund. But we budgeted the repairs, supplies, and services in the general fund. We want to move those to the equipment rental fund. So all of the expenses for those police vehicles are going out of the equipment fund. And that's about $9,000. We also have some memberships that we need to add to the general fund. And then we have some pass-through fees from developers. that we need to put in the general fund. Those are offset by revenues from the same developers, so it's really a net zero to the general fund. And then we have the climate pledge grant for 400,000 that is carrying over from the prior year that we just didn't get, so we're carrying that over. So those are the changes. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We did review this in Finance Committee a few months ago and again last Tuesday. And we did have the attorney review it as well.
Councilmember Richardson.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1132 Foxtrot Yankee 25-26 by no budget amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
council.
All right, moving on to item B, collective bargaining agreement by and between the city of Yelm and the Yelm Police Sergeants and Officers Guild. Okay.
Good evening, council, mayor. I'm so excited to bring forward the last bargaining agreement for your approval, hopefully, or for the mayor. And it is to authorize Mayor DePinto to sign the collective bargaining agreement by and between the city of Yelm and the Yelm Police Sergeants and Officers Guild, establishing a contract for the Yelm Police Union membership for the years 2025, 2026, and 2027. The timeline highlights and the key milestones in the bargaining process between the Yelm Police and the city of Yelm are as follows to culminate in the ratified agreement in front of you. March 26th of 2024, Summit Law Labor Attorneys presented to the City Yelm Council the opening of union contract bargaining. On that date, the City Council established bargaining parameters. On April 15th, 2024, bargaining began between Yelm Police and the City of Yelm. A total of 5 bargaining meetings and 4 mediation meetings were conducted, leading to a tentative agreement. On May 23rd, 2025, Yelm Police Union membership voted to ratify the contract. So I'll go over the list of non-monetary impacts first, and then we'll go to the monetary impacts of the changes in this contract. And the contract goes from 2025 through 2027. The non-monetary for Article 7.5, the contract increases the required notice period for investigative interviews from 48 hours to 72 hours. This change allows for more time for employees to review allegations and prepare with guild representation. A 72-hour window before pre-disciplinary hearings and critical incident statements. Article 12.4, promotional seniority clarification. Upon promotion, any officer's seniority resets to shift and vacation bidding within the new rank. If the officer returns to their previous rank, their original seniority date in that rank is reestablished. Article 13.3, this agreement now defines a regular shift as all days listed on the annual shift schedule provided during the bid process. It also clarifies that employees will not be regularly scheduled for more than 2,080 hours per year. Additional language outlines notice requirements for shift changes, compensation for temporary shift bumps, and options for those other adjustments that may be applied. Article 14.1, overtime calculations updates. Leave hours such as vacation, sick, or paid leave will now be counted as hours worked when calculating overtime eligibility. This change may result in more instances where employees qualify overtime pay, even if it's part of their regular shift, including paid leave. Article 20.1, sick leave. Employees earn 8 hours of sick leave per month with up to 2 full shifts per year now allowed for personal leave. And that replaces a previous limit of 16 hours. So people that work like 10.67 hours on their shift will get that amount instead of the 8 hours. Article 24.2, oral reprimand clarification. Oral reprimands, while not grievable or used as the basis for disciplinary or formal discipline, unless documented in writing, will now be considered stale after 6 months for the purpose of progressive discipline. Article 25.3, grievance procedures. A time frame to appeal a grievance from step 1 to the mayor or his designee is extended from 10 to 14 calendar days, allowing additional time for response and review. Article 25.6 added that all grievance communication may be done via electronic email to an authorized representative and email address identified by both parties. And Article 32, no compounding. Employees may not compound specialty premiums or other ads to pay. Now for the monetary impacts of the contract. Article 16.1, clothing allowance increased from yearly allowance, which was $1,100, is now $1,500. New hires' first clothing allowance went from $1,100 to $2,200, and then $1,500 each year after. Article 19, vacational accrual increases. Years 1 to 2 are currently 96 hours, but will be increased to 100 hours in this new contract. Years 3 to 4 were 104 hours, which would increase to 110 hours. Years 5 to 9 was 120 hours, now increasing to 130 hours. Years 10 through 14 was 160, now increasing to 170 hours. 15 through 19 years was 180, increasing to 190 hours, and 20 years and thereafter was 200, and now is increasing to 210 hours. Article 13.1, salaries. The market wage adjustment for 2025 is 1.5% for all officer employees. General wage adjustment, which is a COLA for 2025, is 5.5%. The general wage adjustment for 2026 is going to be 3%, and the general wage adjustment for 2027 is 3%. The Sergeant Step 3 pay rate has been increased from 17 to 18% above the top step of the police officer scale. Retroactive wage increases will apply to all bargaining unit members and officers who left in good standing prior to ratification, but not to those separated for cause or in bad standing. Next, under salaries, the city agrees to eliminate step 1. Let me go back. We're on a 7-step scale for salaries, so 1 through 7. In the industry and officers, it's more typical to see steps 1 through 5. So we're trying to correct that over the years. So the city agrees to eliminate step 1 effective January 1st, 2025. Any employees on step 1 as of January 1, 2025 shall move to step 2. And following the adjustment, the steps will be numbered 1 through 6. And an employee like that moves will move on January 1st, 2025, shall continue to move up their steps on their anniversary dates. Then the city agrees to eliminate the new step 1 effective January 1, 2026. Any employee on the new step 1 as of January 1, 2026 shall move to the new step 2. So by that year, we'll have a 5-step scale, more in line with our comparables. Article 30.4, instructor premium increase. Instructor premium pay was increased from $75 to $100 for training events up to 5 hours, and from $150 to $200 for training 6 hours or longer. Applies to certified instructors as directed by the employer. Article 30.47, retention pay enhancements. Retention pay awards long-term service with percentage increases above the base salary. Existing levels at 5 years is 2%, and 10 years is 3%. And they remain unchanged, but we're going to increase at 15 years. It was 3.5, and it's going to move to 4. At 20 years, it was 4.5, and we're going to move to 5%. And then years 25 and up from 5.5 to 6%. Any questions?
Any questions? Take a motion then. Councilmember Richardson.
I move to authorize Mayor DePinto to sign the collective bargaining agreement by and between the City of Yelm and the Yelm Police Sergeants and Officers Guild, establishing a contract with the Yelm Police Union membership for the years of 2025, 2026, and 2027.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kang. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Karen. And thank you to the FOP as well for all this time.
Thanks, sir.
All right, moving on. Item C, proposed service agreement with Boss Construction Incorporated for the construction of the Yelm Prairie Line Trail Phase 2B project. Brad.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I will keep this short and sweet. Everybody's heard about this project probably enough. So we went out to bid and Boss Construction was chosen as the low bidder. So this takes our trail over the Nisqually River on the trestle. The amount of the bid was $1,036,531.21. And 80% of this is covered by RCO. This has been budgeted for and approved by council in the past. And we're ready to go. Do you have any questions?
Counselor Wood.
Do you know how much, if any of this is paid for with transportation dollars?
I don't believe any of this is paid for with transportation dollars.
I move we authorize Mayor DePinto to sign a public services agreement with Boss Construction Incorporated in the not to exceed amount of $1,036,531.21 for construction of the Yelm Prairie Line Trail Phase 2B project.
Second.
Councilmember Crossman with the second. Is there any further discussion? Or any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Moving on to item D, amendment number 1, professional service agreement with the SCJ Alliance for construction management of the Yelm Prairie Line Trail Phase 2B project. Brad.
Thank you. Number 2. So this is just an amendment to the original agreement with SCJ to provide services for construction management with the not to exceed amount of $116,259.30. And this is also covered by our grant, so 80% will be funded, budgeted for. No big surprises. I will say just a little cherry on top of this is it looks like we're going to come under budget, so that's always great news. It's not always the case, so. Any questions?
Councilor Nelson.
I had a question come up. I cannot remember the answer. So since you guys are both here,
Okay.
how come we pay somebody for construction manager instead of hiring that position? We talked about a long time ago, and I can't remember why.
So especially with a project like this, this is more than one engineer can handle. So you get a team of engineers. So you've got civil guys, you've got this one in particular, we big in structural. So you'd have to have an engineer with many hats. And actually, we'd have to have several. So that's why an amendment to a contract like this to have them oversee and have full-time inspection on site is priceless.
Councilor Richardson and then Hess.
Yeah, I think that kind of answered my question because, whenever we have big projects, we always have somebody else hired to do the management. And that's just to ensure that the job gets done and it gets done correctly. And that's why we spend more money alongside the money we're already spending to make sure that we have a babysitter.
Yeah, exactly. To make sure everything is going as planned and per their plans. Right.
Councilmember Hess.
Yeah, I remember us having this conversation many months ago, and I remember we finally came to the conclusion that for us to be able to purchase and pay for a project manager and be able to manage all the projects, we weren't a big enough city for that. So what we were paying out of it when we do pay somebody to manage the projects, it's because that is actually a lot less than what it would cost for us to hire a whole team and have them standing on standby waiting for projects to do. And so I appreciate the explanations, and I'd like to make the motion if nobody has an issue with that.
Go ahead.
I make the motion that we Amendment 1 to the professional services agreement that we move to authorize Mayor DePinto to sign amendment number 1 to the professional service agreement with SCJ Alliance in the not to exceed amount of $116,259.30 for construction management of the Prairie Line Trail Phase 2B project.
Second by Councilmember Richardson. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. And carries. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Moving on to item E, we have a public hearing for the 2026-2031 six-year transportation improvements. Cody. Do I need to open this hearing up at? We will go ahead and open this hearing up at 6:18. Yep, go ahead, Cody.
So there's two items before you. I'll be presenting the STIP part of it. We talked about this last week, all the projects in there. Every year we have to update the STIP, the six-year transportation plan or the statewide transportation plan, improvement plan. So all the projects are in there. We get kind of going over the explanation. I didn't know if there's any more questions about it, but I just wanted to make sure you understood what we were going through and what projects are on there. And every year this gets updated. I would imagine in the next year or two, you're going to see a lot of projects drop off because they'll start construction and or finish, like the roundabout, the bypass, some of those things that are on that six-year transportation plan.
Cody, would you, do you have all the projects as listed?
Do I have all the projects listed? Oh my goodness.
There's like, what, 7?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't have.
Okay, I can pull them up.
For the public's
Yeah,
awareness
I
of
know
it.
90% of them off the top of my head, so. Maybe I'll do this all in my head.
And as he's doing that, is there any questions from the audience, the public? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing for the public at correct, Kathy, at 6:19, and then open up for the council to go ahead and deliberate and have discussion. And perhaps Cody has that,
Trying to make it
that list
so small.
right now.
Yeah. Right now. I will get it though. Go ahead and ask questions and I will get it.
It should be, is it in the packet?
It should be in the packet, yes.
Is there any questions?
Just hang down the list.
Any specific questions on any of the projects?
I have one question.
Councilmember Hess.
Yes, it dealt with the Mossman. If I remember correct, there was the question of the fact that it starts at 3rd and 2nd to 3rd was not going to be, hadn't been covered, and we were looking for clarification about that. I don't know if it got clarified or not, but I just remember there was that one question.
Cody, do you want to talk about if it connects to, what is that? Is that Mill Road? Clark, excuse me.
Yeah, so right now Mosman's only projected to connect to 4th. The Clark connection was on there, but it goes right through a church. The church that's off of Clark Road, the original Mosman connection. And so the ability to do that, it was just didn't seem practical. So we took out the connection to Clark. And then we added that the loop will connect through the back road next to Clark and Mill Road. Well, that's where you see that adjustment to Mosman not going all the way through to Clark. Having to condemn multiple properties plus demolish a church, it didn't seem practical. That's when we did that initial build out of this. Doesn't mean we can't add it back in later. It's just in this 6-year STIP, we took it off. It's not a project we will do in the next 6 years. So.
Councilmember Wood.
For clarification, just because I remember the discussion as well, I'm pretty familiar with Mosman between 2nd and 3rd Street. What you're talking about is from 3rd Street beyond. What he's referencing is the last block that hasn't been upgraded of the existing Mosman Road. Are there any plans for that to be completed?
Yeah, that's in the downtown corridor plan, which we did talk about that, where it'll be all upgraded in that downtown corridor plan, which does not need to be in the STIP because it's a separate project. Where all of Washington and McKenzie will be turned into one-way couplets and that Mosman will be upgraded. These are for new road constructions or upgrading a major intersection. So that's why that project specifically out of there. Thank you for that clarification, Councilmember.
Other questions? Councilmember Kaminsky.
I move to approve resolution 656, establishing the 2026 to 31 as 6-year transportation improvement program, the STIP.
All righty, is there a second? Second by Councilmember Crossman. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Cody. All right, moving on now to item G, resolution number 658, update traffic facilities charge. Andrew.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Andrew Kohler, Associate Planner, and I'm here tonight regarding Resolution 658 for the annual update of the traffic facilities charge based on the STIP. As written in the Yelm Municipal Code, the traffic facilities charge is based on the development's contribution to the local traffic or increase in local traffic and the capacity related improvements identified in those projects identified in the 6-year transportation program. And these are adopted annually. The resolution has also reduced the traffic facilities charges by 50% for affordable housing projects. This was in the same or a similar resolution as passed last year, and this is also consistent with the housing action plan. So I'm here to answer any questions. Otherwise, we recommend it for approval.
Any questions, council? Look for a motion.
I think we're all trying to find that motion.
Councilor King Isaac,
I move to adopt resolution number 658 to update the traffic facilities charge to the amount of $3,628 per peak PM trip and $1,814 per peak PM trip for affordable housing projects.
is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnstone. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Wood? Perhaps who pays this development charge? Is that
That's absolutely.
Andrew? Would
It's like
you?
you know me.
Yeah, so it's new development. So housing projects, they're based on the traffic facilities charges assessed by each new peak PM trip. So between 4 and 6, there's a traffic generation manual that estimates like a housing development will generate so many trips per units of residential units. New commercial, basically any new development is determined. It depends on the type of project, but it's determined by how many peak hour traffic trips they generate.
Andrew, are you saying these people that are moving into our community are paying for traffic upgrades?
When the houses when the homes are built.
Councilor Richardson?
So these are all determined by traffic impact analysis studies?
Yes, but it's a little bit more nuanced. So the traffic facilities, traffic impact analysis will determine, they'll do a full study on intersections that are impacted by a project. The traffic facilities charge within the TIA, it'll tell you how many trips that project will generate. There are projects and development projects that don't trigger a TIA because they're so small, but they will be assessed a traffic impact fee based on the traffic generation as determined by the Institute of Traffic Engineers.
So just trying to understand the definition of traffic facilities charge is, I think, what is what's the facility? It's just a building,
It would go, the facilities would be the improvements identified in the 6-year transportation.
So you're referring to like streets as facilities?
Correct.
Okay. So this would be a fee that's charged to the developer, depending upon the houses they were building?
Yes,
Okay.
or the developer that's putting in a commercial space.
Okay, so it'd be a one-time charge and then
Correct.
appreciate the clarification.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Now let's do a roll call vote on this one. Councilor Wood, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Richardson?
aye.
Councilor Crossman?
Aye.
Councilor King Isaac?
Aye.
Councilor Hess?
Aye.
Councilor Johnstone?
Aye.
Councilor Kaminsky?
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. All right, moving on to item H, resolution number 657, declaring property a nuisance or a public nuisance. Chris?
Good evening, Mayor DePinto. Good evening, members of City Council. Thank you so much for allowing me to present tonight. Last week, Public Services Director Cody Colt presented a property that's in mid foreclosure. It's located at 16658 Rainier View Drive Southeast. The financial institution that owns the property would like to secure and abate the property. In order to do so, the property must be deemed abandoned in mid foreclosure and declared a public nuisance by the authority having jurisdiction. So this evening, city staff would like to request council approve resolution 657, declaring the property located at 16658 Rainier View Drive Southeast a public nuisance, therefore allowing the bank access to secure and abate the property.
Councilman Richardson.
Just want to confirm, so there's no occupancy, it's vacant, and the only way they can get in there, secure that is if we make this motion.
Absolutely, that is correct.
And that's a requirement from House.
Councilmember Johnson, please raise your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's a requirement from the House Bill.
2057.
Yeah, okay.
Councilmember Crossman.
Move to approve resolution number 657.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much.
Good to see you, Chris.
Well, thank you.
Wear some shorts next time.
All right, moving on to old business. It's on schedule. Moving on to standing council committee reports, starting with Public Safety Committee.
There was no meeting last week.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Services Committee.
No meeting.
On to Finance Committee.
I was the only one there. It was my first meeting, so I kind of got a high level overview of our budget. We went over the city's need for budget amendments and the amendment itself. It was pretty straightforward. I had lots of City of Yelm general finance questions and got lots of answers.
Thank you. General Government Committee. I don't believe there's one scheduled, Stephanie.
Your meeting?
I don't believe so.
Last time.
Report next. Sorry, goodness.
You're good. All right, moving on to Mayor, City Minister, staff reports. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. So let's start with the police department. Chief Carlson participated last week in a countywide emergency management training on an extreme weather tabletop exercise. He said it was very helpful and productive. Public services, they're in Prairie Days preparation, full swing for that. IT department, our new network administrator will start July 1st. This local applicant was selected from a very qualified candidate pool that's seen multiple applications expressing interest in working for the city of Yelm. Municipal Court, our first ever passport fair will take place in the city of Yelm on Sunday, June 29th. More details to follow on that as we get closer. In the world of human resources, applications are being accepted for the position of water operator 1 or 2. Interviews will take place next week. And so far, we have accepted multiple applications for this position as well. From the Parks and Rec side of things, obviously Prairie Days kicks off this Thursday. That will kick off with bingo hosted by the Yelm Lions Club at the Yelm Community Center at 5. Friday, we'll bring back our Party on the Prairie concerts featuring 3 amazing acts beginning at 5 p.m. Saturday, we'll kick off with the annual Prairie Days Parade at 9. Followed by multiple events to include Touch a Truck, photography contest, chalk art contest, pie baking contest, and a magic show on the stage at 1 o'clock. Sunday will begin and end with the annual charity mushball tournament at Longmire Park. That kicks off at 10. And in the community, Yelm High School senior graduation will happen this Sunday at the Tacoma Dome. All I have, unless you have questions.
Questions for Todd? All right. Friday, I have a mayor's meeting in Rainier with all the different mayors of Thurston County. Attended the EDC meeting last month. We had a presentation regarding solar panel projects. There's 2 big ones coming up. One of them is in Lacey. The other one's near Yelm. It's about 5 miles outside, past 4 corners. I'm up that hill in that area. Had a good JBLM tour with a few council members. Some Wood, Kingizer, Hess, Kaminsky, and we got a tour of JBLM as well as the first Special Forces group led by our own City of Yelm, Sergeant Major Lynch, who's a Green Beret and a member of this community. So it was really good stuff. And then lastly, just looking forward to a fun Prairie Days. Hope to see all of you there. And moving on to councilmember reports. Councilmember Kaminsky.
I very much enjoyed the JBLM tour. I thought it was very valuable and definitely opened a conversation that we can reciprocity together with things. I had the Law and Justice meeting. They are going to open their database to the public, I think, this month. And just some interesting facts that came out of that meeting that I was not aware of, that in Thurston County, there's 1,290 active criminal cases going on right now. 1,290 cases, of which 3% only go to trial. So I guess there's a lot of diversion and other things that they're doing, which is great. And that the county processes over 15,000 cases per year. And lastly, Sheriff Saunders said that 48% of the people in our jail are not from Thurston County. Oh, that was very interesting. Very thought-provoking. And other than that, the Art Commission put out a call for art to find artwork for the utility wraps, and they got over 50 pieces of art to choose from. So the response was very, very good. And we have a meeting tomorrow morning. That's it.
Awesome. Councilmember Johnstone.
The only thing I have to report on is our retreat, and that was on the 30th and 31st. I felt that being away from home really helped to stay focused and not distracted. It was nice to get acquainted with my fellow council members and city staff. I got a chance to deep dive many of our current and upcoming city priorities, which was nice. And I'm happy I got to attend, and I feel the retreat was beneficial.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Hess.
Yes, with intercity transit, everything's going well with that. Just to let you know, they are looking forward to coming for Prairie Days with the bubble bus, and so that'll be a fun event for them. In reference to the JBLM visit, yes, it was a very, very wonderful experience. I am still surprised when I run into somebody that I actually served with, and it was really nice to be able to just go back, visit, and verify that a lot of the memorials that I've been involved with are still available there. In addition, there's not much going on. Just be cautious of the heat that's out there if it continues to start getting hotter. And look forward to seeing everybody at Prairie Days. And oh, before I forget, same day as Prairie Days of June 14th is the Army's 250th birthday. Wonderful celebration to be had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Kingheiser.
Busy week. I actually got a chance to tour our water reclamation facility. That was pretty neat. I had set out to meet with another person that didn't actually make it. So I got kind of a personal one-on-one tour and even got to climb up the tower, which happens to be the shortest one because all of the towers are built to be at the same water level line. And so the one over by Walmart seems super gigantic, which someday I'd like to climb that, just to note. But all of the water lines are at the same. It just depends on the elevation that they're sitting on. So that was a pretty neat situation on last Monday. And then I, of course, did the JBLM tour as well, which was really neat. I think lots of big takeaways, but also $7.10. So much food, so much food. I could have easily filled 3 plates, but I can't eat that much. So that was great. And then yesterday, the senior center dinner, we fed around 50 people a steak salad and French onion soup. And that was really neat. Actually, you joined us after the JBLM tour. And Councilmember Hess, we actually saw the bubble bus from, is it Fort Stevens that's behind the senior center, or is that it's Fort Stevens? Yeah, so they must have been doing a big thing over there. So I just thought it was kind of neat that independently intercity transit is showing up with that bubble bus. That's it.
Thanks. Councilmember Crossman.
Good to know.
All right, Councilmember Richardson.
Nothing to report.
Thorwood?
I don't have to say it again. I went to the, I will. I went to the, for the tour at JBLM. It was enlightening. It was a lot more information there than we even began to hear about. It was pretty good info. I attended the TCOM meeting last week. We honored our 2024 Employee of the Year. Her name is Lisa Goss, and some you can look up on the website. It's quite a list of accolades for this young lady. She definitely earned it. Let's do a financial report. Everything's as it always is with TCOM. They're pretty good at predicting what's going to happen with the revenue flow, and it generally sticks to that. Executive director's report was nothing to report or have any impact with us out here in Yelm. And we had some volunteer opportunities for the budget subcommittee and the labor negotiation subcommittee. And I landed with the budget subcommittee, so they'll have something, I guess, to report from that in September.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Usually wait.
What did you want to
I
add?
just wanted to add about JBLM, even though they're right next door to us and our neighbors, going there had a different perspective on how much we mean to them. And of course, so many people from JBLM live here and work here. And it was so cool to see Brian know people. And even two of those people on the tour, I had worked that we had no way of knowing each other or what we did, but just how intermingled and how important our support is and their support of us is just really a good realization.
Good point. All right, we do have an executive session scheduled, and it will be to discuss the considerations of site selection or acquisition of real estate per RCW 42.30.110 for the public, this is going to be a 20-minute executive session. We will come back and officially close out. This is for the most part the end of the meeting. There won't be anything else, but the end of the meeting. So you're welcome to stay and watch that, or you can take off. Thank you for joining us today. We will do a 20-minute executive session. So at 7 o'clock, we will come back for executive session.
Oh.
Get the double door barn door.
Here we go. All right, we are back from the executive session. We are on item 12.
Move to
We are
adjourn.
back at 7 o'clock from our executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Councilmember Wood got it. Is there a second?
Right.
Second by Councilmember Crossman. Sorry, Councilmember Hess, I didn't see you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.